Hi all, welcome to today's video. We are going to see about unit 2, okay, that is data literacy. And before jumping into the subtopics, I wanted to explain about a flow chart, a flow diagram, where you can see the visual representation of what are all the topics present under each subtopic. Okay, so when you start looking into these type of flow diagram, it will be very easy for you to grasp when we go into the separate videos or subtopics. Okay, it gives you a holistic picture of how and what are all the units and topics which are present in this unit 2. So yeah, let's jump into that. So this is what I told. Okay, so whenever you are learning any unit, just try to understand the main topic. We know the main topic is data literacy, and we need to analyze. We need to just study what are all these subtopics present under that. So we will get a holistic view. Okay, only these are the topics present, so it is going to be easy for me. So please don't be afraid, or please don't skip any topics, because when you read it, it will be very simple for you. And this flow diagram which I am showing you, right, so it will be very helpful for you when we go topic by topic. So I'll just tell you. So we are in this data literacy, right? We are in the unit 2. So if you see, this unit has 3 parts. Okay, first it discuss about basics of data literacy. So when we discuss about basics of data literacy, we are going to learn about the introduction to data literacy, and it has a data pyramid. Okay, it has a data pyramid where it how the data is getting transformed in each stage from raw data to wisdom. And then we move on to how to become a data literate. Okay, data literate means once you know how to find the data and filter accordingly. So for example, when you're going to Amazon, when you try using filters or comments or the ratings for purchasing any product, obviously you are better than like more than I would say 50 to 60% of the people who doesn't know about what is that. So at that point of time, being a data literate, it really helps us. And next we are seeing about difference between data security and data privacy. And then best practices of cyber security, like do's and don'ts. What are the do's and don'ts we have to follow? And then we move to acquiring data and processing and interpreting data. So this is going to be our second unit in that subtopic. And in that, if we see, we have types of data. Okay, in types of data, there are 2 types, mainly numeric data, which is a quantitative data, and textual type data, which is a qualitative data. Okay, and in numeric data, there are 2 types. One is discrete data, where we see it as a whole number. So if you want to answer any question like how many students are there in the class, 60. So that is like a discrete data, and it is not a continuous data. Okay, and what is continuous data? So for example, if we want to learn about the students' height and weight, so it says about continuous data. Okay, so this is about the types of data. And when we move on to data acquisition, right, we have like 3 stages there. One is data discovery, data augmentation, and data generation. High level, I can say data discovery, like we have primary data sources and secondary data sources, how we are trying to consolidate our data for making for which will be useful for our project. And in the data augmentation, what is that means? It explains about enhancing our primary data, so that adding more data, like for example brightness or contrast to our existing data, and creating more data from our existing data. We call that as data augmentation. And data generation, data from the base we take and we generate more from the sensors or IoT devices. We extract those data, and that we call it as data generation. These are the types of data acquisition. And best practices and ethical concerns. What are all the best practice we have to follow, and what are all the ethical concerns we have to keep in our mind when we are doing data acquisition. Okay, this we will be discussing. And later point, we will be discussing about data processing and interpretation. Once we acquire the data, so how are we going to process it? Okay, so for understanding that, we need to know what are the features of data. Okay, we have different types like dependent feature and independent feature. Yes, we are going to see in the upcoming videos. And next, methods of interpretation. Okay, so methods of interpretation means from the output, like we have two types. One is qualitative data interpretation, which is of a categorical value, and a quantitative data representation, which is a numerical value. So if you want to answer a questions like if I would ask these type of questions, for example, if we want to improve any AI model or any app based on the comments given by the user. So if the user feels happy, he will give a 5 rating and he will give, okay, I felt good and it is a very good app to use. So if you go to a restaurant, you give good ratings about the dishes, and so based on the comments, so that we call it as a qualitative data. Okay, categorical values. And quantitative data means a numerical value. So how many students are present in the class. So for answering that, I would say 50 students are present, like that. And types of DI, data interpretation, right? We need to know what are all the types. So we can represent it as a textual representation, tabular representation, and graphical representation. Don't worry, I'm just telling you the overview of this topic, data literacy. So in the upcoming video, surely we will be seeing each and every topic which we are discussing, right? I will put a detailed brief video about each and every topic which we are discussing now. Just try to understand the overall picture of the second chapter, which is data literacy. And third is a dashboard development part, which is a very, very important part. So most of the companies and organizations are looking for these type of skill set. Okay, so right from the data acquirement and data cleaning and converting into a real insights and taking decisions out of it, right? So this whole process, the most of the companies are following the same process. So once you start knowing to understand to collect the data and to clean it, and once you know to how to distinguish its types, and then you start building dashboards. Okay, so for example, I have taken Power BI, okay, Microsoft Power BI as an environment. In that, we are going to see a data set. We are going to see how we can extract the data and how to transform to get the values, and then how to load it into a dashboard to get the graphs into a graphical representation. So if you see, this is the overall picture of unit 2. Okay, so this seems pretty easy. Yes, yeah. So yes, we will start learning it videos by videos. Yeah, see you in the next